As we continue to have vehicle thefts around the world, we would ask the question to ourselves, is our car vulnerable to the current theft situation? In this video, I will look further into this topic for some Lexus vehicles, particularly the NX and RX. Hey, it's LSFT here today, and today I'm here to look at if I can answer a simple question. Can the new generation NX and RX be stolen? And the answer is yes. In fact, all cars can be stolen. It's just a matter of how easy is it to be stolen and if there are any demand for that make or model that you own. Even with the current ways of stealing vehicles, even if that's protected, thieves will find other ways to really get your car. They can jack up your car with rollers and roll your car off. They can break the window, cut your steering wheel, and try to drive off with it. If they really want it, they will get it. But I think the key point here is, how did Lexus or Toyota do to our vehicles to help prevent or lower the risks of being stolen? Reading through Lexus forums, there was a post talking about IGLA systems, and I've talked about this system before, and they're great for preventing vehicles from being stolen. And one member in that forum actually had a link to an open source project called OpenPilot. So what is OpenPilot? OpenPilot is an open source driver assistance system. Currently, OpenPilot performs functions like adaptive cruise control, automated lane centering for compatible vehicles. When you think of it, our NXs, RXs actually have that function already. But it says that it performs similar to Tesla's Autopilot and GM Super Cruise. It can steer, accelerate, brake automatically for other vehicles within its lane. So when you read it, I feel that it's similar to what we have in our NXs and RXs and even the new Lexus Safety System 3.0. So is there really a need for OpenPilot? Well, you know that there are some people who want to try other things and try and make it better. And as we continue to do that, we improve these systems. So it says also that in order to enforce driver alertness, OpenPilot includes a camera-based driver monitoring system that alerts the driver when distracted or asleep. So similar to what we have in the new RXs, right? So this is an open source software, meaning the source code is available anywhere on the web, and the source code is available on the web through GitHub, and you can actually look at how they do that to control different features within your car. In some ways, it's great to expand this type of software so that other developers can contribute, but unfortunately, if the software gets into bad hands, they can read it and now know how to control these systems. So how does it work? So it says that OpenPilot works by connecting to your car's CAN network. So a lot of people hear about this CAN bus hack, and that is really going to the central computer. It can send messages to the CAN bus and then be able to do certain features or certain functions the car can do. And that's where you can see that the RX is being stolen with less than a minute, is that someone actually pulled out the headlight, because our headlights are smart. It actually connects to an ECU to the central computer, telling it to have automatic high beams, or it goes up and down based on the gyroscope of the car, and then it will be able to adjust certain things, because you can know that there's a camera that detects light and it tells the high beams to turn off and all that. So that's what that computerized things do. And why they pulled the plug means that they can actually go and now control the car. And unfortunately, the RXs, if they actually pull out the bumper or cut open the wheel well, they will have access to that wire. With that wire, now they can get control of your computer. So what OpenPilot does is it actually goes and takes the wiring from your front recognition camera, connects to it, and be able to connect to the CAN bus. So that's why they're saying here that most are connecting by the car's CAN network, and most cars accept electronic steering, gas, and brake commands to allow the ADAS features to be processed. So why is that important? It's important because if OpenPilot can access the new generation CAN bus, then the same CAN bus hack can happen. Follow me on Instagram at LSFTvideos. You can see updates on my experience with the NX 450 Plus, which may not be shown on any future videos. You can also reach out to me via direct messaging if you have any questions on your Lexus. If you like this video, you can provide me feedback in the comments below, like this video, and share it with your friends. This definitely will help me with the YouTube algorithms. Press the subscribe button and bell icon and get notified when new videos show up. And lastly, if you want to support me further, you can provide me a super thanks, which is greatly appreciated. And now let's continue with the video. So I've moved over to the OpenPilot where it has Lexus. And you can see here CT 2017-2018, ES from 2017 to all the way to the 2024, Hybrid 2017 to 2023, GSF 2016, the IS 2017, 18, 19, 22, and 23. I don't know what happened to 2020 and 21. The NX from 2018 to 2021, same thing with the hybrid. And we have the RC 2018 to 2020, RX 2016 all the way to 2022, hybrid 16 to 22, and the UX 19 to 23. So meaning this OpenPilot project is able to access the CAN bus of all these Lexus vehicles. But one thing that you've noticed, the NX 2022 to 2024 is not on the list. The new RX is not on the list. The LX is not on the list. There's a bunch of vehicles that are not on the list as well. The LS is not on the list as well. But it doesn't mean that they're not compatible. It just means that they haven't tested it. So meaning they probably will not be buying an LS, $100,000 LS, to give this a try. So they always go down to like the ES or the lower cost vehicles to give it a try. But doesn't mean that they cannot do it. The most important thing is we don't see the new generation NX and RXs here. And the reason why is, let's flip over to the next screen. The biggest thing here is this Toyota security. So they're saying that OpenPilot does not yet support these Toyota models due to a new messaging authentication method. And they're telling people to vote if they want to get support of these models. You can see that the RAV4 Prime 2021 and above, the Sienna 2021 above, the Venza 2021 and above, the Sequoia 23 and above, the Tundra 22 and above, Corolla Cross 22 and above, only the US model, the NX 22 and above, the BZ4X 23 and above, and the Subaru Solterra 23 and above. You don't see the RX 23 and above here, but probably they just haven't updated this sheet. Let's move on and continue to find more evidence. So now we move over to GitHub and look at the forums and what they're talking about in the code here. So they're saying that right now, the security key, the TSK, Toyota Security Key, ECU Security Key, is on the RAV4 Prime, the Sienna 2021 and above, the Venza 2020 and above, the Yaris 2020 and above, NX 2022 and above, 2022 and above Tundra, 2023 above Sequoia, North American Corolla Cross, BZ4X, and you can see here they question about the Japan-made Corollas, and they have the RX 2023 Plus, the LX 2022 Plus, and also the Grand Highlander. So there's probably going to be more. As new models come in, this whole new architecture is going in. And from what I'm seeing here is this current status of this, they are trying to actually take a dump of the firmware and trying to figure out like how it works and trying to find a way to get into it. And right now, at this point, there is no public solution available for OpenPilot to work on these Toyota ECUs with security key, which is good news for us as owners. Not as good news for people who want to continue to expand this type of technology. And they're saying that it's not limiting the hardware, it's actually a knowledge gap that they're missing, and Toyota is really holding tight on this. They're not giving out how the security key is actually be implemented. Because again, once it's implemented, people will start going back and trying to get into the CAN bus, getting trust of the CAN bus, and then being able to communicate with all the other systems. So it's great that they are not able to do this at this time. And it does say that there's a person who was able to get the firmware, they're analyzing the dump of it, and they haven't provided an update for 10 months already. So I'm hoping that Toyota has gone out to them and say, don't do it, give up, and stop doing it, right? It's hard, it's really hard to know, but it definitely, they've been trying to reverse engineering this. And I'm thinking if they really want to do this, maybe Toyota open up some APIs, open it up so that they can actually connect using that type rather than getting them full access to the CAN bus. All right, so let's move on and see, do we have more evidence that our new NXs and RXs are not vulnerable to the CAN bus attack? So now we're going back to 2018. This is a news article. This translated from Japanese, and so it may not be 100% correct. But in 2018, Toyota actually had a news saying that they will be revamping their electronic infrastructure in 2019 and introducing encryption to all cars. So you can see here, they actually said in 2019. So they know that this has been a problem, but it takes time to do this. And I don't know if they can actually go back to older cars and put new ECUs in, or actually just update the firmwares to have the encryption, or the ECUs on the old cars are just not powerful enough to be able to do the encryption. I don't know, but I'm hoping that this will happen sooner or later. But at this point, there's no news on that. But the good news is, you can see here, it does say that the Toyota Group, the next generation electronic infrastructure will be adopted to passenger cars of Toyota, Lexus, and all the other brands that they have, so which is good. And then down here it actually says messaging authentication, a common key encryption method based on block ciphers, AES, is used to data exchange between ECUs. So the encryption key is common and is installed only in authorized ECUs. Messages from other parties without the common key can be identified, and it becomes difficult for third parties to send a fake message in the in-vehicle network. So this really shows us that they having implemented this, and that the communication between all these ECUs require a common encryption key, and that is set when they built your car. So that is why when they go into updating your software and all that, they actually need to go and get a key so that they can actually update your firmware. That is good news. So in 2021, they've actually have this document that came out, and this is coming from the Toyota Parts and Services, and it says ECU reprogramming and ECU security key writing. So using TextStream and the latest technical service bulletins to help keep ECUs up to date. So this is instructions for mechanics to how do they actually go and update their vehicles. So you can see that here. It says today each vehicle has numerous computers and they commonly use ECUs, and some replacement ECUs are just plug and play. But then when they're saying that when you actually replace a vehicle that has the security key, you can't just put in the new ECU, that's it. So you can see here it says 2021 and newer Toyota models like the RAV4 Prime, Sienna, and the Venza. It's saying that there are some technical bulletins teaching you how to reflash and reprogram the ECUs. And I actually found a Lexus technical service bulletin. So this is actually saying that 2022 LS500, 500H, LX600, NX250, 350, 350H, and 450H Plus. So this document is in 2022. There probably is an updated one that includes the RX and all that, but you can see this is information that we saw on the previous document where it says ECU security key is necessary. So you can see these vehicles guaranteed require ECU update of a security key, which means the communication between the computers within the vehicle require that encryption. So this tells you what is necessary to update the ECUs. And you can see here, it actually talks about ECU Security Key, and like when you're updating the radar cruise, what model, whatever, you go next. And then it says it's necessary, and they're telling you that they actually have to go into TechStream, and there's a TIS to download the ECU Security Key. So the technician will have to log in, and after they log in, they will actually have your VIN number, and there is a software ID, and there's actually a bunch of keys that is required for it to update your ECU. So just being able to communicate with it, you need to be authorized. So that is a very good thing that Toyota and Lexus has done to the computer systems, which means our cars are not as vulnerable as we think they are nowadays. So the last thing we see here is from Reddit. So it's 4 months ago, and someone here actually has posted saying attempted theft of the 2023 NX350H, and that was confirmed by the dealer. And you can see on this picture, the bumper was pulled off a bit, this trim has been pulled off a bit, but they were not able to get into the vehicle. So you can see here, apparently there's a known fault with some of the new range of Lexus. Last week, we noticed a bit of trim had been come off the wheel arch and the bumper looked bented. Upon starting the car, light on the front indicator and the running lights threw up error and wasn't working. And then they booked their NX350H for a recall by Lexus, and apparently an increasing current where if the thief unplugged the light explains the bent trim and the plug into their device into a switch connecting to the light sensor cluster to the ECU, they can deactivate the immobilizer and start the car. Many have some details wrong, but this is how we understood it. And they're saying that it costs £100, so they're in UK, to get the light plugged back in, and then they're asking for $600 to replace the trim and the bumper repair. So just thoughts everybody should be aware. So they posted this. It means that the person who actually pulled out the bumper they actually unplugged it, they plugged into the device, but they were not able to communicate with it. And that shows the proof that the 2022, the second generation NX is not vulnerable to the CAN bus attack, which is extremely good news. But unfortunately, some people will try, and I think once they've tried, they know it doesn't work. They probably, hopefully, they will not go and start pulling our bumpers off and trying, but at least your car is still there. The biggest thing right now really is how can we prevent that from happening? You can say that Lexus can actually add more screws into the bumper so that it's not just clips, so that it doesn't come off as easy. Maybe that's one way to solve it, but it's unfortunate that people are trying and desperate in trying to get access to the vehicle. So there we have it. The new generation NX and RX and most of the brand new Lexus that are coming off are not vulnerable to the CAN bus attack. Unfortunately, there are still ways to steal your vehicle. You know that the key fob, you're replicating the signal, thinking the car is actually right beside it, is still something that could still happen. And they can also reprogram and get a new key fob, so you still need to go and protect your car. So make sure that you put your keys on a Faraday bag so that the signals don't get exposed. And another way is to also get an OBD lock so that it actually covers the port. It delays them from actually getting access to the port, so then programming another key would be a little bit harder to do. I haven't heard of any attacks at this point. I really don't know if it's possible that they can reprogram a key on the new NX and RX, but I think that is still possible. I also know that they've done some other work on the new key fobs, and that is why there is shortages on our key fobs and not the older key fobs like the ES and IS. Like they've actually resumed the ES and IS key fobs much earlier than the key fobs on the new NX, RX, LX, and all that. So definitely the key fobs have been upgraded, but we just don't know and we don't have much information on what is the difference between these two key fobs. I know that ultra wideband is something that they've introduced in Japan, but I don't know if that was introduced across the board globally. So definitely there is more improvements that they're doing, and over time, hopefully Lexus vehicles will not be the top 5 vehicles being stolen. So hopefully this change will happen, but unfortunately you know that they can still steal your car no matter what. You just need to protect your car. We have some good news, some good proof that our new vehicles are protected from the CAN bus attack, and meaning the cars are not as easy to be stolen. Hopefully the numbers for our vehicles don't even show up on the list of the top stolen vehicles in the world, but hopefully Lexus and Toyota continues on this path, because I always believe you create something new, they'll figure a way out of it, and then you have to do something else on top. That's human nature. Hopefully you found that this video was informative, and until next video, drive safely. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please comment, like, share this video, and if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel and press that bell icon to get notified when new videos are posted. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can provide me a super thanks. And until next time, cheers.